Okay, so now that I've got my board that I'm going to work with set up, what you want to do is make sure you're on the move tool, and this, which is hover over it, it will tell me what it is, the move tool. And you see, I know that I need to divide this into 4 quadrants. So what I'm going to do is come to the rulers, and I'm going to pull out guidelines, and I'm going to snap those to the 6-inch mark so that I now have my canvas divided into my 4 quadrants. You have tools under view that allow you to work with snapping, which makes sure that it's precise. It'll snap to whatever you're telling it to under snap to. So in this case, it's pretty much snapping to everything, and I'm going to leave that for now. If I ever decide I want to work with just one thing, you just uncheck it, and it will no longer snap to that option. We're going to turn that back on. Okay, and that's on, and uncheck it to turn it off. You also can clear your guides or lock your guides. And when you're working with a lot of things, you may want to lock your guides because it will prevent you from moving them around on accident. Okay, so we now have that divided up, and I know that I now need an image that's 6 by 6 to fit in that square. You don't want to stretch it. You don't want to stretch your images. What it does is distorts the aspect ratio, and it will make your image lower quality than you want it to be, especially if you're printing it out. But sometimes for web as well, if someone zooms in, they'll see those inherent flaws. So don't stretch your images, crop them. And I'm going to show you how to do that. Now, in this case, my image of my cat with pumpkin is bigger than my canvas, right? This is 23 by a little over 17, and I only need 6 by 6, okay? So the first thing I want to kind of do is see if I can just go ahead and just, maybe line up some guides and crop it out. And so if I come over here and I think, well, if I put one guide at 4, then 6 more inches will get me to 10, and that would put that guide about right there. So she's still too big. Now, one of the things I can do is just scale this down by going to image size. And in here, I want to go ahead and change that resolution. This is what you got to be careful about. This number under image size needs to stay the same or less. Otherwise, you're adding pixels. And while Photoshop is smart, you don't want it adding pixels because it makes a decision. So what you're going to do is I want to convert this from 72 resolution to 300, and I know that I need to keep that number 5.87 or less so that I don't scale up my image. Okay, so I'm going to change the 72 to 300. You're going to see it immediately tells me what that's going to be. But I know that I want to scale it down over here. Okay, so now you see what's starting to happen. Once I change this to 300, if I change this to 6, you're going to see I'm still above this number, but my image is smaller, is getting smaller over here on the height than I need it to be. And let me show you what that means. I'm just going to go ahead and say, okay. You see, this is still too big. This is not what I wanted. Let me actually scale that down to where it is under. Whoops, that's too little. 5. You can do math to figure this out, but I just find that, there we go. Okay, I find if I guess, I get faster than if I pull out the calculator. So 5.5 at 300 is slightly less, and so I'm good with this. This is pretty much the same. It's just a little bit smaller. So, okay, look what happens now. When I drag and drop my image into my canvas, it doesn't fit. It's too small. I need a bigger image. Okay. And so that is one of the things that you want to think about when you're initially taking your image, is making sure that your settings on your camera are high enough to get the image that you need. Okay. So this image is too small. And because this is going to be a print project, I can't use it. I need to use a different image. Okay. Now, I do want to show you, I dragged and dropped that image over, and that is how you get images, move images around, which is why I like my windows floating. So I dragged and dropped it over, and you're going to see that it put that image on another layer. The way you add layers is to come down here to the bottom and create a new layer. And you can just keep going. And you see it names them in succession and it stacks them. Basically how this works is like this. Your background is a piece of paper on the table. My layer 1 is a photo I placed on top of that piece of paper. If I have additional layers, they get stacked on top. And all I'm doing is seeing down through the stack. If these layers above are solid, I will not see what's below. If I start making them transparent, and we will do that by working with blending modes and opacity, I can start to see through those layers and I can start to create interesting combinations. And that is something that we're going to work with after we get our image set up. So the first thing I need to do is I need to go and I need to find an image that's going to work. And this in the beginning can be a little frustrating until you're kind of getting familiar with how this works. But all you need to do to know how big an image is go image, image size, and Photoshop will give you that information. It will tell you how large it is in terms of memory. It will tell you the dimensions in terms of pixels and inches, as well as tell me the resolution. Okay, and so that's how I know how big my image is. So now I know that what I need is an image that is 1/4 that size. So I need it to be 6 inches by 6 inches by 300. And that will get the image that I need. Okay, so I know that I need that as my minimum size. So I want to make sure that I'm working with 6 by 6 at 300 ppi. Now, sometimes on your phone, when you take pictures, it will automatically set it to 72 ppi, but it'll be like 30 feet long. And so you can adjust that, right, as you saw by making changes here. The thing to keep your eye on is your image size to make sure you're not changing or adding pixels, okay? All right, so let me go get an image that will work, and I will see you in the next video.